The smell hits first. Salt water and heat. The kind of Caribbean night that should make you feel like you've escaped something. Like you're untouchable. Nassau, Bahamas. December 12th, 2022. Your penthouse at the Albany complex sits above a marina where the boats are still and the water reflects nothing. The ceiling fan turns. Your phone glows on the nightstand. You haven't slept. Not really. Not in 31 days. There was a time, recent enough to feel like a bruise, when you could close your eyes anywhere. The back seat of a car. A beanbag in the office. Even mid-sentence, you could drop out for 20 minutes and come back sharp, come back ready. That was the version of you that existed before November 2nd. Before the article. That person is gone. You check the phone. 2:47 a.m. You've been refreshing Twitter. You still call it Twitter, the old habit, scanning for your name, because your name is everywhere now and nothing attached to is good. 3 weeks ago, $8 billion in customer funds disappeared. 3 weeks ago, you filed for the largest crypto bankruptcy in American history. 3 weeks ago, you handed the keys of FTX to a man named John Ray, the same man brought in to liquidate Enron. Within 48 hours of reviewing your books, released a public statement saying he had never, in 40 years of legal and restructuring work, seen such a complete failure of corporate controls at every level of an organization. He was talking about you. Something moves in the hallway. Footsteps. Multiple sets. They do not announce themselves. The footsteps of people who do not need to knock because they already have the authority they need. You stand up. You are 30 years old. You are wearing shorts and a t-shirt. You weigh maybe 150 pounds. 9 months ago, Forbes called you the richest person on Earth under 30, with a net worth of $26 billion. You were on magazine covers. Senators took your calls. Tony Blair attended your conference. Tom Brady was your ambassador. The Miami Heat played in your arena. The knock, when it comes, is not a knock. It is the door opening. The Royal Bahamas Police Force stands in the frame, acting on a formal extradition request from the Southern District of New York. The cameras are already somewhere in the building. There are always cameras now, and you are about to become the most famous financial criminal of your generation. But to understand how you got here, you have to go back. All the way back. To California. To a kid who believed he was the smartest person in every room he walked into. And the terrible thing, the thing that makes this story different from all the other stories, is that for a while, he was right. You grow up in Palo Alto. Not Palo Alto in the mythologized Silicon Valley sense. Not the hoodie and garage version the documentaries keep telling. Palo Alto in the specific, rarefied way that means your parents are both professors at Stanford Law School. Your father, Joseph Bankman, is a tax law scholar. Your mother, Barbara Fried, co-founded a major Democratic political fundraising organization. You were born on March 6, 1992, and you were raised in a house where intellectual precision is the only currency that matters. You are not a charming kid. You do not perform. You do not light up rooms. You think. You process. You have a particular quality, hard to name, easy to underestimate, a willingness to look at systems that other people treat as fixed and ask, but why? But what does the evidence actually say? But what happens if you run the calculation honestly instead of in the way that makes people comfortable? You go to MIT. You study physics. Not because it moves you, you will say later in the careful confessional way you have of speaking, the way that sounds like honesty because it is technically accurate, but because physics is a system. It has rules. You respect rules that are provable. At MIT, you find effective altruism. The idea is clean enough to fit inside a single sentence. You can calculate the maximum good you can do with your one life. And if you're rigorous about it, the answer usually points toward accumulating money. Earn as much as possible. Give it away. Simple optimization. For a certain kind of brain, analytical, cold-blooded about moral questions, capable of viewing charity as a mathematics problem rather than an emotional response. This is not just a philosophy. It is permission. Permission to pursue money at scale and call it virtue. You graduate in 2014 with a physics degree. You take a job at Jane Street Capital in New York, one of the most sophisticated quantitative trading firms in the world. You trade international exchange-traded funds. You learn to read markets the way other people read faces, for tells, for patterns, for inefficiencies the rest of the world is too slow to exploit. You're good at it, better than good. And then in 2017, sitting in front of 3 monitors in a building in Midtown Manhattan, you see it, the thing that will make you, and then unmake you. But you don't know yet, sitting there, calm, processing, that the machine you are about to build has a cavity inside it, a hollow at the center of the structure. And by the time you press your hand against the wall and feel it flex, the whole tower will already be in motion. The price of Bitcoin is higher in Asia than it is in the United States. Not by a little, by real, meaningful percentage points. In Japan, the difference runs 5, 6, 8%. In South Korea, the gap becomes so pronounced it earns its own name, the kimchi premium. The same asset, 2 prices, a gap. And inside that gap, for someone fast enough, is money. Not theoretical money. You leave Jane Street. You raise $100,000 from savings from people who believe in you. And in late 2017, you start Alameda Research. The name is deliberately dull. You do not want attention. You want to run the arbitrage. Buy Bitcoin cheap in the United States. Move it to Asian exchanges. Sell it where the price is higher. Pocket the spread. Repeat. In the first month, you clear $1 million. In the next several months, tens of millions. You're 25 years old, and you have found something that the largest financial institutions in the world, with their armies of analysts, did not find first. You run the operation around the clock. Wire transfers at 3 in the morning, calls to exchange operators in Seoul and Tokyo, a small team that works in the same relentless rhythm you do. The arbitrage eventually fades. Market's correct. Gap's close. But it does not matter, because by then you have something more valuable than the trade itself. You have proof. Proof that you can see things others can't. Proof that your particular combination of physics train pattern recognition and willingness to act without sentiment puts you in a different category. Proof that when you trust your own analysis over the consensus, you win. This certainty, this specific flavor of it, built by being right so many consecutive times that you stop seriously modeling the possibility of being wrong, is the most dangerous thing you will ever carry in your life. Because that is the worst thing that could have happened. Not the money, the certainty. In May 2019, you build the exchange. FTX, Futures Exchange. You co-found it with Gary Wang, a quiet MIT classmate who is your inverse in almost every way. Where you talk constantly, Wang codes. Where you perform, Wang builds. Together, starting in an apartment and migrating to Hong Kong and then the Bahamas, you build something that at its peak processes more daily crypto trading volume than every exchange in the world except one. The product is elegant. The fees are low. The interface is clean. You attract real traders, not just crypto natives, but Wall Street immigrants, hedge fund refugees, retail investors across America who have watched the stock market and want something faster, something with more edge. You give them something to trust. And trust, in a market full of bad actors and elaborate cons, is worth more than any feature set. Here is how you build that trust. You perform austerity. The shorts, the unwashed hair, the beanbag in the Singapore office, the Toyota Corolla. You are, on paper, worth more than the GDP of entire nations. And you choose to look like a graduate student who hasn't found a Goodwill yet. You speak in the careful language of effective altruism, measured, self-deprecating, obsessively focused on systemic good. And you position yourself as the one serious adult in an industry full of Lamborghini-buying grifters. You're going to save the world. You just need enough capital to do it properly. The performance is so complete, so internally consistent, so durable under questioning, that the people who spend the most time examining you come away not just convinced, but converted. They want to be you, or they want to fund you, which is close enough. Sequoia Capital invests. They publish a sweeping profile, thousands of words, that compares you to John Maynard Keynes. They call you a legend in the making. They will quietly delete that article in November. But here's what the investors don't know, what the customers don't know, what the politicians and celebrities and regulators and journalists don't know. From the very beginning, earlier than feels possible, earlier than you will ever admit directly, the wall between FTX and Alameda Research is not a wall. It is a door, and it is always open. Customer deposits into FTX. Real money from real people, from a trader in Dallas who moved his savings in because he trusted your Super Bowl ad, from a retired school teacher in Ohio who heard you on a podcast and believed the math, from a 23-year-old in Atlanta who put in every dollar she had saved since college. Those funds are flowing into Alameda, being deployed, being used to place bets in an increasingly violent market, not as an emergency measure, not as a bridge loan, as the operating model. You tell yourself it is fine. FTX is growing too fast for this to ever be a problem. The deposits always exceed the withdrawals. The machine is working. It is just liquidity management. It is just optimization. It is just temporary. You signed it. You knew. You signed it anyway. January 2022. FTX is valued at $32 billion. $32 billion, and you built it in less than 3 years. You moved to Nassau permanently. The Albany Complex, a gated resort community where the seriously wealthy go to disappear from the world, becomes your base of operations. You fill a compound with employees and colleagues, and the particular intensity of people building something at impossible speed. Multiple people share rooms. The conference table is permanently covered in takeout containers. You sleep on a beanbag, and everyone talks about it like it's a philosophy. You sign Tom Brady. Tom Brady, the most decorated American football player of his generation. 7 Super Bowl rings, a living monument to American athletic culture, takes an equity stake in FTX and becomes your face to mainstream America. His then wife, Gisele Bündchen, joins as your environmental and social initiatives ambassador. Stephen Curry signs. Naomi Osaka signs. Shakira O'Neal joins. Kevin O'Leary, the businessman from Shark Tank who calls himself Mr. Wonderful, accepts $15 million to appear on television and tell the American public that FTX is the safest, most regulated crypto exchange in the world. In February 2022, Super Bowl Sunday, 113 million Americans watched Larry David appear in a commercial for FTX. He plays a man who refuses every innovation in human history: the wheel, the telephone, the fork, and at the end, he refuses FTX. The punchline is that he is wrong. $7 million for 30 seconds of airtime, and every person in America who has ever heard of crypto has now heard of you. You are at your Bahamas conference in April, and Anthony Scaramucci is there, and former President Bill Clinton is there, and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair is there, and Katy Perry is there, and Orlando Bloom is there, and you're standing at the center of all of it in cargo pants, this slightly disheveled, perpetually distracted-looking kid who has somehow become the gravitational center of an entire financial universe. You signed the naming rights to the Miami Heat Arena. The building that has hosted 30 years of professional basketball history is now called the FTX Arena. $135 million over 19 years. You donate more than $40 million to Democratic political causes ahead of the 2022 midterm elections. You become the second largest individual donor to the party that cycle, behind only George Soros. Politicians compete for your attention. Regulators treat you as a voice of reason. You testify before Congress as the responsible, thoughtful adult in crypto, the one who actually wants sensible oversight because you have nothing to hide. Nothing to hide. You say it with the particular confidence of someone who has decided that saying something enough times transforms it into armor. Meanwhile, inside Alameda's accounts, the situation is deteriorating faster than the deposits can cover. The crypto market peaked in November 2021. By May 2022, a stablecoin called Luna collapses, wiping $100 billion from the market in 72 hours. Three Arrows Capital, a major crypto hedge fund, fails. Voyager Digital fails. BlockFi fails. Each collapse leaves new damage on Alameda's balance sheet. Each new scar on that balance sheet is a hole in the customer funds of FTX. And the hole is growing. Your notifications stop feeling like progress. Your phone is a weapon now. A Bloomberg alert, a tweet from the right account, a message from a journalist. Each one is a potential trigger. You start reading every message twice, not for what it says, but for what the sender actually knows. Sleep stops making sense. You are awake at 3 in the morning in Nassau running numbers that will not resolve, cycling through models that will not close, looking for a version of the math that makes this survivable. The math will not cooperate, but the show must continue, because stopping the show is the one thing you absolutely cannot afford to do. Every dollar coming in is building a time bomb. There is a journalist at CoinDesk named Ian Allison. You do not know his name yet. You will soon know it better than almost any other name in your life. He's been pulling a thread for weeks. Quietly, methodically, the kind of journalism that does not announce itself until it is finished. And what he has found is a document, a leaked balance sheet, Alameda Research, dated June 30th, 2022. The document shows that Alameda holds $14.6 billion in total assets. That number looks substantial until you examine the composition. Nearly 40% of it, $5.8 billion, is held in FTT. FTT, the token you created, the token FTX issued, an asset whose entire value rests on the continued existence of FTX. You have propped up your trading firm, the firm secretly running on customer funds, with your own exchange's proprietary token. If the token falls, the firm falls. If the firm falls, the exchange falls. If the exchange falls, the customer accounts go with it. Caroline Ellison knows this. Caroline Ellison is the CEO of Alameda Research. She is 28 years old. She studied mathematics at Stanford. She came into your orbit through the Effective Altruism Network, and she's been at different points both your closest colleague and your girlfriend, the kind of personal and professional entanglement that only feels sustainable when the numbers are good. She has known about the balance sheet problem for months. She has tried to manage it. She cannot manage it anymore. Inside the Nassau compound, something has shifted in the air. The all-hands meetings carry a different register. Questions that used to die quickly now circle back. Ryan Salami, who runs FTX's Bahamas operations, knows something is seriously wrong. Nishad Singh, your lead engineer, one of the first people who believed in what you were building, knows something is seriously wrong. The lie has become the oxygen. You have been calling it creative treasury management for so long that the original act, the taking of customer funds without their knowledge or consent, the deployment of their savings into your bets, has acquired the patina of policy. It is just how the firm is structured. You will fix it when the market recovers. The funds will be replaced. It is temporary. It was always going to be temporary. November 2nd, 2022. The CoinDesk article publishes at noon. You are on the phone with your communications team within minutes. You draft a response, measured, technical, The kind of calibrated non-answer you have perfected over 3 years of media management. You post it. You say the balance sheet has been mischaracterized. You say FTX is fine. FTX is fine. The market reads the article. Then the market reads your denial. The market has seen enough corporate denials to know exactly what they mean. FTT starts to fall. November 6th, Sunday morning. Changpeng Zhao, CZ, the founder and CEO of Binance, the largest crypto exchange on Earth, sends a tweet. He says Binance will be liquidating its entire FTT position due to recent revelations. His position, $580 million. He will sell it all into the open market. You understand the implications within seconds of reading it. When Binance sells $580 million of FTT into a falling market, the price collapses. When the price collapses, Alameda's balance sheet is destroyed. When the balance sheet is destroyed, the hole in FTX's customer accounts becomes visible to every trader and regulator on Earth. Caroline Ellison fires back with a public tweet. She offers to buy all of CZ's FTT at $22 per token. Directly, publicly. Is financial desperation wearing the mask of confidence? And the market reads it for exactly what it is. CZ does not respond to the offer. The withdrawals begin. In the first 24 hours, $1 billion leaves FTX. By the end of the second day, $6 billion in withdrawal requests have been submitted. FTX does not have $6 billion. Your phone does not stop. It is a continuous stream of names you recognize. Investors, political allies issuing careful statements, distancing themselves. Lawyers calling on behalf of celebrities who now urgently need to understand the exact terms of their equity arrangements. Tom Brady's team calls. Stephen Curry's team calls. Kevin O'Leary calls. The man who told America you ran the safest exchange in the world is now calling because his $15 million is missing. Everyone calls. November 8th. CZ tweets again. Binance, he announces, has signed a non-binding letter of intent to acquire FTX, subject to due diligence. You allow yourself, for one night, to believe that a deal can seal it, that one transaction can fill the hole, that the story ends as a restructuring, a near miss, a lesson learned and survived. 24 hours later, Binance walks away. Their statement is brief. Upon review, the issues are beyond what they can address. They will not proceed. In a Nassau compound, you're on calls that do not end. In New York, federal prosecutors in the Southern District are assembling a case file. In Washington, politicians who accepted your donations are holding press conferences with your face on the screen behind them. And in 1,000 American cities, people are staring at FTX apps that still display their balances, their savings, their actual money, numbers on a screen they can no longer access. The day trader in Dallas who moved his retirement account in because you seemed like the legitimate version of crypto. The 23-year-old in Atlanta who put in every dollar she had saved since college. The retired teacher in Ohio who heard you talk about effective altruism and thought. Finally, someone in this space who actually cares. People who believed you. November 11th, 2022. FTX files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. You resign as CEO. John Ray walks into your books. John Ray, who liquidated Enron, who has spent 40 years handling the wreckage of corporate failure, who believed he had seen the full spectrum of what human beings do to other human beings with financial instruments. He reads what you built, and within 2 days, he releases a statement that will follow you for the rest of your life. Never in his career has he seen such a complete failure of corporate controls. No complete employee list, no functioning accounting system, an expense approval process that amounted to messaging senior staff on Signal. Company funds used to purchase real estate for employees and advisors. Loans to executives recorded nowhere. An internal software expense limit set to $1 billion, and it had been reached. The effective altruist who was going to save the world had spent $8 billion of other people's money. And then he tweeted through it. Your Twitter feed from those 10 days is a study in a mind trying to outrun collapse in real time. You said you had the assets. You said Binance would fix it. You deleted tweets. You posted new ones. You called yourself an idiot. You apologized to your team. You apologized to investors. You never directly apologized to the customers. Not once. Not in 10 days of continuous public posting. Not once did you address the people whose money was gone. The people who knew you best moved quickly. Gary Wang, quiet, brilliant, your co-founder, the architect whose code made FTX possible, flew to New York. December 19th, 2022. He walked into a federal building and pleaded guilty to wire fraud, securities fraud, commodities fraud, and conspiracy. He would cooperate fully with the government. Caroline Ellison, the same day, did the same. Nishad Singh followed in February 2023. Ryan Salami in May. The people who ate dinner with you in Nassau. The people who stayed up through nights of trading and building and believing. The inner circle. They became the primary architects of your prosecution, one by one, because the alternative was spending their own lives in federal prison for choices that were ultimately yours. December 12th, 2022. The Bahamian police come to your door. You were extradited to the United States on December 21st. You land at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey in the early hours of the morning. The photos from that night, you in a dark coat, thin, walking across a tarmac surrounded by federal agents, are on every front page before dawn. You are arraigned in Manhattan federal court. You plead not guilty. You spend the following months under house arrest at your parents' home in Palo Alto, the same university town where you grew up, where your parents are still professors, where you first understood that being the smartest person in the room was the only identity worth having. The ankle monitor on your leg. The same house, a different understanding of what the ceiling means. The trial begins October 3rd, 2023. In a courtroom in Lower Manhattan, the government puts your own people on the stand. Caroline Ellison testifies for 3 days. She describes the meetings in Nassau, the spreadsheets, the specific decisions. She describes a document she was shown, a balance sheet with one particular line item, one entry, showing that Alameda Research owed FTX $8 billion, and that this number was to be concealed from auditors, from the board, from every person outside the compound. She says you knew. She says she was directed to hide it. Gary Wang corroborates her testimony, number by number. Your defense argues you were overwhelmed, not criminal. That the complexity exceeded your capacity to manage. That you were reckless, not malicious. The jury deliberates for 4 hours. November 2nd, 2023. Exactly 1 year to the day after the CoinDesk article was published. 7 counts. 7 for 7. Wide fraud, securities fraud, commodities fraud, money laundering, conspiracy. All of it. Every count. March 28th, 2024. Judge Lewis Kaplan sentences you in the same courthouse. Prosecutors requested 40 to 50 years. Victims testify about retirement accounts emptied, small businesses destroyed, savings that do not exist anymore. Before announcing the sentence, Judge Kaplan says there is a risk, not a trivial one, that you will be in a position to do something very bad again in the future. He says you knew it was wrong. You knew it was criminal. You regret having made a very bad bet about the likelihood of getting caught. But you will not admit a thing. He sentences you to 25 years in federal prison. He orders the forfeiture of $11 billion. You're 32 years old. In the federal prison in San Pedro, California. After an initial period at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, you become part of the American penal system. The FTX Arena in Miami is renamed. Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen file for damages. Kevin O'Leary, who called FTX the safest exchange in the world on national television, declares himself a victim. The Sequoia profile is permanently deleted. Your congressional testimony, the serious, responsible, let's get the regulation right face of crypto, is entered into the prosecution record as evidence of the fraud. Caroline Ellison receives a sentence of 2 years. The customer recovery process is ongoing. Billions have not returned. At the sentencing hearing, you say 5 words that are the most honest thing you have ever said in public. My useful life is probably over. November 2021. You're 29 years old. You are worth $26 billion. Fortune calls you the next great American mogul. Forbes photographs you for the cover. Tony Blair is at your conference. Tom Brady is your ambassador. The Miami Heat plays in your arena. Katy Perry is in the room, and you're the reason she came. The kid in cargo shorts who doesn't care about money. The effective altruist doing the most good. The responsible adult in a room full of cowboys. March 28th, 2024. You stand before Judge Lewis Kaplan in a borrowed suit, and he says 25 years, and the forfeiture is $11 billion, and $8 billion in customer funds is still being recovered, and somewhere in Dallas and Ohio, in Atlanta, the people who believed you are still waiting. Before the sentence, Kaplan says one more thing. He says you are extremely smart. He says that is precisely the problem. 3 years ago, you were the richest person under 30 on the planet. Today, you're in a federal prison in California, and the beanbag is still in the Nassau compound. Empty.